I do know it, and all I could picture was Dawn French doing it, where she swings the suitcases around as she's doing it.
Because it's so iconic, because you've got the guitar and you've got the guitar. Hello, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Aggro, the podcast with two friends, one film, and very little agreement. I'm Nicky, a young lady who I think will never be a nun.
And I'm Phil, and the big question is, how do you solve a problem like Maria? But before we go on, here is a short audio clip of our very own Nicky. She was how old?
4.
4 years old, singing a little bit of a song which is from this week's film, The Sound of Music.
Yay!
What will this day be like? I wonder. What will my future be? I wonder. This could be so exciting. Be out in the world free. My heart is rightly rejoicing. Oh, what's the matter with me?
So, how's your week been?
It's been alright. It's been, I'm back in the writing habit now. I've got my routine back a little bit after some time off, so I'm trying to get my next book edited. It's going to take me months, because it always does, but I've started it, so that's good. How about you?
Trying to get my head back into the game with my other project. Slacked off a little bit with my Toffees R Us, but some big stuff coming up with Everton's final couple of games at the stadium and things. So yeah, I get back on that this week. So, The Sounds of Music. 60 years old this year. Why did you choose it?
If you say to me, what's your favourite film, or what are your top 10 favourite films of all time? I'd tell you then, and The Sound of Music wouldn't be in there. And I wouldn't even think about it as an option. Because it's not a favourite film. It is part of my soul. It is not just something I think, oh, I'm going to watch this film tonight, and I put The Sound of Music on. That's not how it works. It's something that I remember as long as I remember anything in the world. So I remember it as long as I've known my parents, as long as I've been aware of myself. It defies that kind of category of, oh, it's a film you put on. It's always on, and you'll have noticed this surely, around Christmas times, or Easter times, or bank holiday times. It's just one of those standard holiday films. Which means that when it's on, I'll watch it every single time it comes on. And I won't plan to watch it. I will be doing something else. I'll see that BBC One, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll be about to do something. Oh no, it's Easter Monday and The Sound of Music's come on. I will watch it because I have to. It's part of me.
So this is where it shows how different we are, because this is actually my first time reviewing this movie.
I cannot handle that information.
So what you're saying about it doesn't get included in your top 10. I understand that, because that for me is Star Wars. You know, and every Christmas when I was younger, it was always on a Christmas and we would record it, and I'd already have a previous recording from the year before and think it's just a quintessential thing. So I can understand that completely.
Stop making it about Star Wars. It's about The Sound of Music.
No, but I can understand the feeling towards something like that. Okay.
I actually looked up why that might be. And the thing is, if you remember back in the day when video players first started, I think we got ours in 1982. I was 4. And it was like, we had that on video immediately. Not because we bought it, obviously, because we didn't know that.
Yeah, they were like 800 quid to buy back then.
We recorded it off the telly. And I Googled when Star Wars... Stop me talk Star Wars. I Googled when The Sound of Music had been on television. So... But from my birth onwards, we have got BBC One, Christmas Day, 1978, April 8, 1980, July 81, April 84, May 86, April 94, March 97, December 98. It goes on. Considering back then you had 3 or 4 channels, it's on a lot, I think. And I'd love to sort of compare that with like Bond films or Star Wars, for example. And I don't know if they would have been on as much.
I think Star Wars would have been on as much.
I don't know, because I've never seen it.
Yeah. Oh, a future podcast. Here we come.
Okay, but the point is, it was on a lot, and everyone got to be able to take it on the telly if they wanted to. Yeah. And so I don't think I'm unique like that. But the problem is, it's not a problem. Captain Von Trapp, just for example, is my blueprint for masculinity. This is what a man is, because this is what I learned when I was, I'm going to say 2, because let's just say 2 is when you you're conscious, or I remember being conscious of things. I had my dad, I had 2 uncles in this country, and I had Georg Von Trapp. They were my men in my life. So it's quite confusing as you get older and realise what a stone cold fox he is.
So
Not my
yeah,
dad, although.
so I was just, you've obviously mentioned this to me before about his
Christopher Plummer.
his masculine role, and I'm now obviously questioning how I brought my children up because I didn't whistle them to come down the stairs.
Oh, you know that he changes. You know, right? We're gonna start. But just to sort of reiterate, I need to point out that I'm not spoilt or posh. And I grew up with not much because we had a very big family. 7 children. Oh, interesting. We'll come back to that later. But when I was an only child, when I was about 3.5, 4, my mum and dad took me to the West End to watch The Sound of Music in 1981. And it was Petula Clark, right? And it was Honor Blackman who played the Baroness. Now, I didn't know who she was at the time, but I remember my mum telling me about Petula Clark. Anyway, just to show you, I've got some history with this thing. Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
Did you get that was a lie?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I did. High roll moment.
You didn't seem to notice.
This is where we need to film this podcast because you would have seen the eye roll.
The opening scene.
Can I just jump in here now?
Please, talk over me. Off you go.
Absolutely great shot of it coming in. I'm going
to break it down. So let me describe it. I could do a whole podcast on this opening scene, but I'm going to limit myself to about 30 seconds. It gives you chills, but also makes you immediately cozy and warm that you are in safe hands of storytelling here. It starts really small. There's the sound of wind on a hilltop as the clouds clear over snowy mountains. Birds sing. There's no music yet. Eventually, instruments start to play, just the odd ones, separately, like they're warming up in an orchestra. There's a gentle piccolo, I think. I don't know. It sounds like it might be
This sounds like this is going to be a long podcast.
There's a gentle piccolo, and it calls to mind a babbling brook. The melody starts. We see lakes, we see fields. It's a pastoral scene. It's rural Austria.
So,
music. Oh, hang on. Oh, please, don't interrupt this poetry. The music builds. We focus on a field from a distance. There's a dot. The camera pans into it. The music soars. We zoom in on the dot. It's a woman. She's got her arms wide. She's singing. She's swinging. She launches into the hills of her life. And we are off.
So can I just say from a technical standpoint how good this is? No, how good this is, because obviously this is, 60 years old. So obviously they had to use a helicopter shot to come in and stuff. But the transition between the helicopter to Maria actually singing in the field, I mean, you think of modern day now, just all drone footage, it's really easy to do that and things. But
and I've read stuff about how you had to do
impressive.
It, you had to do it over and over again because she kept falling over with the blast of the things. So you had to do a whole bunch of things there.
Yeah.
It's such a good opening.
You do pick up on the grass being flow, though, just technical. But yeah, I was
such a good opening to a film.
I was shocked at how good that was.
Yeah. I was reading various things about this. And Sarah Weaver, who wrote a really nice article, which we'll link in the show notes, when it was 50 years old, so 10 years ago, she says that basically Maria's frolic on the mountain represents sexual desire. Because she's free, she's unfettered, she's not restrained by the convent, she's not restrained by the rules and regs that she's supposed to be sticking to. Because obviously we now cut to the convent.
So hang on, before you jump ahead. So my first line on my notes is like, okay, they've hit me with the only song I know out of the musical
brilliant.
Straight away.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
did you not know any others, genuinely?
Carry on.
Oh, okay.
And I've got Maria's a bit of a rebel because of the convent.
Yes. Yeah. So she is basically trying her best. But in the convent, it's all calm. It's all nuns, orderly, kind of, going about their business, congregating in the chapel. She is late. She runs in, and there's a whole thing. We see the Reverend Mother, Peggy Wood, great actress. Some massive names for the time back then. Doing getting some info from two other nuns about whether or not they think Maria is suitable for nun life, and they basically agree she's a bit of a nightmare.
The second note, I do know the song "How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria," and I blame you, Andrew Lloyd Webber, BBC TV show. Because
I looked for Maria.
Yeah, now I didn't watch the TV show, but I must have watched a bit of the first episode, so I knew that song. I was quite surprised.
Well, what makes me laugh is, the good thing about Instagram and the internet is all the memes that you see these days. It's like, I've seen this so many times. It's gone completely viral where they go, it's just undiagnosed ADHD. So you've got all these things, how can you tell some meme from a clown or a will-o'-wisp, a fleshy gibbet or whatever it is? It's decided quite quickly that Maria needs to maybe try a bit of time away from the convent to see whether or not this is right for her, and she's going to be said to be a governess for a captain of the sea, naval captain.
Yes.
With 7 children, a widowed guy who's having trouble retaining governesses. The song she sings when she leaves, I Have Confidence, is one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you didn't know it, that's okay. But
I do know it, and all I could picture was Dawn French doing it, where she swings the 2 cases around as she's doing it.
Because it's so iconic, because you've got the guitar and you're going to have a guitar, you want to have like a carpet bag holder.
Yeah.
I used to act this out when I was little, had a little toy guitar, and sort of march around and swing them about. Oh my goodness, it is iconic.
So I just visions of Dawn French at
Brilliant.
that moment.
Well, good. But the scenery on that scene where she's basically, the song takes her from the convent to the house where she's going to live. You see Austria, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you think? I mean,
yes. So, further in my notes, you're making me jump ahead now. The scenery and the sets of the film are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of the interiors of the house look a bit too setty in a couple of moments, but you know, top marks, 10 out of 10 for looks of the movie.
Pleased that you like it. Finally, we know what Phil thinks. All I know is that when I was 19, I was looking to go on holiday with my then boyfriend. And it was the first holiday I'd ever been abroad, other than a school trip. So this is my first adult abroad, not with my parents. I've never been abroad with my parents, actually. And we went to Salzburg, and it was purely because
you wanted to go, right?
Because this could be the tourist board funding this. That scene makes you just think, fountains, the sort of the square,
I don't think the tourist boards were that switched on back then.
Honestly, it made me want to go. It was peaceful. Yeah. So she arrives, she's at this massive house, she mistakes the butler for the captain, and she turns up and it's all fine. And
I mistake the butler for the captain as well. It's just, and I was
I'm the butler for like.
He does look a similarity to Christopher Plummer, but
it's a stern Austrian man.
Yeah.
She meets the captain. He surprises her while she's pretending to bow in a ballroom. It's like a ballroom, isn't it?
She looks in the ballroom.
And she's having a look.
Yeah.
And so we meet Captain Von Trapp. Thoughts?
Miserable.
Yes.
Stern, obviously playing up to the trope of lost his way, can't find his way, and doesn't know what to do with the children. You can see that straight off.
Well, okay, but when you're 2 and you're watching it, you just think he's a grumpy dad. You don't know he's grieving at this point, because he's not told anyone he's grieving. So well done you for being able to see the layers.
Well, they'd already told us at the convent that the mother was deceased, so I knew that coming into it.
No, I know, but you just assume he's just, back in those days, men didn't grieve, they just cracked on, you know what I mean? That's the vibe, isn't it? So he obviously is grieving, but we don't know this yet from him, and we don't really know from her. What we do know is that he's very stern. For as much as Maria is nervous, because she's talked about, the whole song she's just sung because she gets her high have confidence, where she's pretending to have confidence. She does push back. She questions various things that he says. He tries to get her to respond to a whistle, which she's not having at all, which is great,
Thought that was pretty good.
Thanks. She explains those of the dogs and cats and other people, but not for her. And then the children arrive and they all have a whistle and they march down like they're in some sort of regiment and they all introduce themselves. So here's my question. Can you name the kids?
Marta, I remember.
Marta.
Liesel.
Yeah.
Liesel looks about 40. She looks way older than...
Apparently, her and Christopher Plummer had mutual attraction thing going on set.
Right.
Neither of them acted on it, I read.
Yeah. So, in my notes, I thought,
I know we're not checking notes. Can you name the kids? Liesel and Martha.
Is it Christoph?
No.
No, well, I can't name them all. But the reason I know Marta is from the Knives Out.
Yeah.
And Liesel... your book writing.
Thank you. Well, this is another way that I've kind of used this film as inspiration in my life. Yeah. So my character, Lisa McCauliffe, that I'm writing the 3rd book in her series.
Available on all good bookshops?
Well, the 3rd one isn't yet. The first 2 are. Her full name is Liesel, and it's because of The Sound of Music. Yeah. And I very much, even when I was little, I don't know if I identify with Liesl when I was little. Well, certainly as I've got older, an older child and a teenager, I absolutely do. Mainly because I am the eldest now of 7 children. I wasn't when I first did this film.
I think the reason those two names stand out as well is those two characters are pushed to the forefront of the
Why
story.
is Martha pushed to the forefront?
Well, she's the one, isn't she, who doesn't want to comply at first, and then is she that's the first one who then
Well,
comes
Martha's like the
to
second
warm it.
youngest, isn't she?
Yeah, and then she becomes warm to Maria first.
Yeah, she's at the beginning. She's the one who wants to pick parasol for her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the two
Anyway.
characters that stand out.
So we've got Liesl, Friedrich, Louisa, Brigitte, Kurt, Martha, and Gretel.
Yeah, I knew them all.
So, yeah. But it is funny because again, with my brothers and sisters, people generally, until they really know us, don't know all our names. Do you know what I mean? It is funny that, like, you just meet a group of people all at once and then people, in-laws, when you meet it, like, my sisters, when they've married guys and we've met their families, they never remember us for ages. It takes a good long while. Anyway, I have so many ways to relate to this film.
So, they're all bratty kids at this moment.
Yeah,
pretty much playing up.
Maybe a bit of a
And
nightmare.
then came the third song I know.
Oh, God, go on.
My favourite things.
Oh, okay.
So-
We're skipping ahead, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And this is the scene where Maria wins them round. Basically, This is where they bond. So they don't really play up that much or for that long, considering they've seen off every other governess before her. You see them put a frog in a coat and a pine cone on a chair, a whoopee cushion style.
But she doesn't kind of tell on them of what
she's
they've done
dominant.
to the dad, so that gained a little bit of respect.
And the other thing that happens around this scene is that Liesl has snuck off with Rolf the mailman.
Yes,
the messenger.
Yeah, and this is where she looked more 40 than anywhere else.
Do you know what, Liesl?
But we don't like Rolf. We don't like.
Do you not like Rolf at this point? It's interesting. Again, when I was a kid, I had no clue until it really becomes obvious. But were you getting vibes?
I just had an inkling that he was up to no good.
Seriously, though? Genuinely?
Yes, genuinely, yeah.
I just thought, well, again, I wasn't really paying attention to the Nazi undertones when I was 2.
Yeah.
But fair play. And he's very blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan race, isn't he?
Yeah.
But there are a couple of little snippets here where you see him talking to the butler. Is everything under control? Are there any developments? So they've clearly got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's not explicitly made clear at this point. But they sing 16 going on 17, which is a song that I sang a lot to myself when I was 16, because it made sense.
Song number 1, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And what I find really interesting as well, looking back at this, is considering that when I was a young child, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all I wanted to do was dress like Bananarama, but I couldn't because I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when I became old enough to choose my own clothes, like a teenager, I just wore jeans and t-shirts. So it always surprised me how much I remember loving Liesl's dress in this scene, the pink floaty one that she dances all around the summer house in, and that Maria has to wash in the bath. I love that dress. And yet I can't even picture a time when I would ever wear it at any point in my life. Just sharing.
The fantasy side of it, isn't it? You know.
Here's a question for you at this point. Have you ever made any clothes out of drape?
No. So that was my next line. The kids were happy wearing curtains. You know, they all seem like,
These are repressed kids. I mean, maybe this is, they represent freedom.
green floral curtains.
They were all. It makes me laugh though.
I mean, it was a bit the TF moment.
A few weeks ago, it was my brother's 40th and we were all going to London to beat up and have a family meal. And my sister messaged on the family WhatsApp beforehand saying, just to let you know, I will be wearing a Sound of Music dress. And we all knew what she meant. She meant a floral dress.
Right.
But while the kids are rambling around and wearing drapes and having a marvellous time, as Maria says, Captain's off in Vienna. So he's gone to meet his lover.
Yes, the Baroness.
Now, I'll tell you what, it's such a difference, me watching it as a grown-up and me watching it when I was a kid, because we are supposed to see the Baroness as the enemy. She's the kind of nasty, potentially evil stepmom who's going to come in and, spoil things. But I swear to God, watching it now, she's fabulous. She's amazing.
She didn't come across as overbearing, over-threatening, while being overbearing and threatening towards Maria.
Hints at boarding schools and stuff.
Yeah.
She's so cool and glamorous. She's got the most amazing eyebrows.
Didn't notice.
She's just fabulous. Eleanor Parker. I watch it now with a whole new renewed sense of respect for her and her character. And Uncle Max.
Yeah.
He brings the banks.
Yeah, I didn't understand why he was there at the same time as her, but it is what it is. The scenes work with them together.
There's a thing that went viral a few years ago, and it's called "I regret to inform you that my wedding to Captain Von Trapp has been cancelled," and it's a blog post by Melinda Taub, and it's a very, very funny kind of, you know, in the style of the Baroness informing Salzburg literati that she's no longer getting married. And at one point she uses the line, "I have kept custody of the captain's hard-drinking gay friend, Max."
Right.
I love this whole idea that these two are just this glamorous kind of, you know, woman and her gay friend who just travel around going to all the best parties.
Didn't pick up on that in the slightest.
No, well,
yeah.
there you go. Maria, while the captain is away, Maria is singing songs. She's teaching the children how to sing. They're suddenly very good at harmonising, which is lovely. Because there's been no music in the house since his wife died. That's what Frau Schmidt, the housekeeper, told Maria back when she arrived. So the captain's been running the family like he's on one of his ships.
Yes,
So
military. Now, my upbringing, I could completely see that because I lost my mum when I was 15 and my dad took over bringing us up. And my dad had been in the merchant navy forever. And we kind of then had to adopt a sort of strict military style upbringing, which was hard to take at the time. You know, didn't do us any damage or any harm. There was no whistles or anything, but it was strict. There was lots of different words used for things that happened. Like if you got grounded, it was military terms like jankers and things like that. So yeah, it was. I can understand.
Do you identify with this film wholeheartedly?
I wouldn't say that as such, but yeah, I understood some of it. But I've got written down here that effing whistle because he uses it again when they fall into the water.
Yeah. So when the kids, so after a month away, which is a month when you're not having sort of the military kind of upbringing, your freedom must have been amazing for these kids. And Maria's been basically in charge of them. They come back to the house via a boat and they fall in the water. Maria basically has an absolute massive showdown with the captain. They both give as good as they get, an absolute slanging match Barney, and he tells her to leave because Baroness is there. He wants her to meet his kids, and they're all wearing drapes and are soaking wet. You should also point out, just before that, before the children arrive back, we see an interesting scene which really does now start the kind of Nazi undertones as being overtones.
Yes.
Rolf turns up with a message, and Max and the Baroness and the captain are on the terrace having a lovely, you know, afternoon. Rolf turns up with the message, and we see our first Hitler salute, our Nazi salute, which is not great. It's not nice, but it really does make clear now. And of course, we should already have been clear that the opening titles say it's like the last golden days of 1930s Austria. We know what's coming as adults, certainly. Maybe I didn't know as a kid. But we know what's coming. So this piece is very much a facade because the stuff is on its way. So yeah, Rolf has turned up with a message for Max. Max is very much like, just let it go to Georg. Georg is furious. What will be, will be. And Georg is not having that at all, not on his watch. He's pushing back on this Nazi threat constantly. What's interesting is that I read that in the stage show, which came first. I think that was in 1959. This film was 1965. In the stage show, there's actually a song that happens, I'm guessing around here, with all three of them, Max and the Baroness, and then Georg is there, and it's called No Way to Stop It. And it's basically the Baroness and Max saying, look, it's coming, the Nazis are coming, just go along with it, don't worry about it, we'll be fine, you know. Which is probably not great messaging.
Well, you know, current times.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to see that. But it was cut for the film, and also in the stage show, that is why Georg doesn't get married to the Baroness, because he's like, oh, I can't have a Nazi sympathiser, or I can't compromise my own pro-Austria beliefs. Whereas it's obviously in the film, it's more of a, well, he's in love with someone else, so that's why they call the wedding off. Anyway, so Maria is ordered to leave. She's soaking wet, and they have this massive Barney, and she goes into the house to get changed. And as she goes into the house, and the captain follows, the children, who are still a little bit wet and bedraggled, have started to sing a song to the Baroness. And it's beautiful. Do you remember?
What was the song?
It's The Hills Are Alive. It's
yes, I know that one again.
I'm so glad. So glad you kept up. Yeah, they're singing a song. It's very slow. It's much slower than the opening version of it. And it's Liesel's playing on the guitar, and there's only harmonies, and it's beautiful. And this is the point where Georg has a sort of an epiphany, a light bulb moment. He goes, okay, maybe I've been a complete dick. Couldn't quite say that. His face melts. He's watching them from the doorway, and then he starts to sing himself, and he walks in. His face is just... So I think it's possibly the first time we've seen him smile. Maybe we've seen him smile with the Baroness, but that's different. And they all hug, the kids and him, and it's like a real moment of change in the film. So now it's all changed.
Yes.
The house
is this the puppet show?
We're about to head into a puppet show. Everything's changed. There's a puppet show.
So I have wrote down, suddenly they're all puppet masters. I mean, have you ever tried to do one of those types of puppets?
This is a fictional version of a story. It's nice.
And they have a whole room dedicated to a puppet theatre.
They're very rich. You never know. Yeah, we see a puppet show. And to be fair, the Lonely Goat Herd song is the only song I struggle singing along with.
Yeah, didn't know that one either.
It's very typical. That hasn't stopped me trying. But then we also have Georg singing Edelweiss on guitar.
I know that one as well.
Lovely. It's beautiful. And then we have Elsa, the Baroness, saying, let's have a party. So the whole kind of world has changed. It's all upbeat and lighthearted and fun. So Georg has a party, and he introduces all of the kind of great and good people from Salzburg. And we meet Herr Zeller. Do you remember Herr Zeller? Oh, he's a local Nazi.
Yeah. Yes.
He's the baddie.
Yeah.
And he's, commenting on the fact that the Austrian flag is being displayed in the house. And he does talk about how the Anschluss is coming. And again, this is where I learned about the Anschluss as a very small child, which is kind of random when you think about things you learn when you're little. It's a cloud over the proceedings, this sort of political backdrop. But the children sing a nice song, the Fuck You song. Have you ever done that with your brothers?
I wrote down, I know the Cuckoo song as well. This is just ridiculous. It's getting beyond stupid.
I do remember when it was Mum and Dad's 25th wedding anniversary, thinking it would be quite good if we did that at their party. All 7 of us, and then I just thought, no. I was 24 at the time. I was like, nope, I don't know that.
I also wrote down under this, right? Good head of hair on Christopher Plummer.
Oh,
I mean, I've only known Christopher Plummer mostly in his later roles. But yeah, real good head of hair.
There's no white fox in those.
Yeah.
This party, everything changes. Because what happens is, kids go to bed, but before that, we see Maria with the children. That's her, she's there working, obviously. And she tries to teach Kurt the Ländler, which is a Austrian folk dance. And so they kind of, it's funny, he's getting it wrong, and they kind of come across as they're trying to do it. But the captain watches and steps in. Now, you've got to admit, even if you are not into guys, you've got to admit that this is sexy.
I didn't think it was sexy, but I thought it was a good scene.
He comes on, sexual tension is palpable. And all they're doing is country dancing in the school hall almost. But they do it. And the looks between them as they're getting closer, as they're moving, and then it stops because she completely just
madly in love with him.
Madly in love, and he also is in love with her, and this is so obvious now. And it's also clocked by the Baroness, who is no sort of stranger to a smouldering look. Kids go to bed. The Baroness then goes and helps Maria get changed for the evening. And at this point, the Baroness says, oh, you do know the captain's in love with you, which absolutely scares Maria shitless. So she packs her bags and goes.
Is this where it comes up with intermission on the screen?
Well, do you know what?
Because this is the first time I've ever seen that actually in a film. It made me want to go off and get a nice cream.
Did it say intermission on your version?
Yes, it said intermission. Funny. It said intermission, yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I watched the not advertising here, but the Disney Plus version.
Right, okay.
And it said intermission. And I was like, oh my God.
I didn't know that. So my version, it was all the way through, so it didn't stop.
Are you still watching a 1983 VHS recorded version?
It was whatever they showed. Yeah, it was, whenever it was last on telly, I put it on my planner. So it was just on my planner. I think it was on the BBC. Oh, that's funny. Well, do you know what? I always thought that was where the interval was in the stage show. And so I've written in my notes, this is the interval in the musical. Then it sounds like it should be, because, it's a music store, she walks out the big staircase and she goes. Yeah. But then I was reading about it on Wikipedia yesterday, and it said that actually the interval is when The Reverend Mother sings "Climb Every Mountain." I scribbled it out, but actually,
Right. So
that's where they put it in there. It makes sense to me.
that's where I'm sure it was.
I think it fits there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're now in a post-Maria world. She's gone. Children are bored, fed up, sad, missing her. It's very depressing. They play a very sad game of catch.
Back into bland clothes.
Oh yeah, and everything is dull. And the energy levels are dull. Max, I should mention, has been banging on for a little while about a singing competition he's trying to do. That's his storyline, basically, when he's not drinking pink gin on the terrace. And he wants the children to sing in it, but Captain's not having any of that.
Yeah, they haven't sung publicly and things like
and
that.
He's very much about, that's not, my children will not be doing that. The good news is that the children are still close to their dad. Those bridges have been mended and they are maintained. They are continuing to be mended. At one point, the kids go off to try and see if they can see Maria in the convent.
Yeah,
it's quite sweet.
And they're blocked by.
Hot blocked.
Yeah. Not exactly in a
Sister Margareta.
But they're stopped by one of the head nuns and they can't be seen because she's in seclusion.
That's what they say, and it's a very sweet scene where they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. They'll tell you people." When they go back, they've missed. And they're not missed dinner. They're about to miss dinner.
No, they said they've been eating berries, lots of berries.
When they get back, the captain's asked where they are, but they can't say where they've been. So they pretend they've eaten loads of berries. And then he goes, "Oh, you don't want any dinner then?"
Yeah.
But it's sort of
Or he knows
banter.
and they know, yeah.
It's not cruel. It's kind of bantery. He does a little smile as he kind of goes in. And it just feels like they've mended bridges here. It's nice that that's how it is.
Yeah.
And there's no... if you ever... On a slight aside, have you ever seen Mary Poppins?
Numerous times.
Oh, good. But it's the whole thing that Julie Andrews at this era in her career basically went into kind of strict dad's houses and sorted out the relationship with the kids.
Do you know one of the things I actually thought is a similar type of storyline?
Yeah.
It's not the same story, obviously.
No. Julie Andrews being a mum and working for the family.
Being the nanny, basically.
Relationships with crap dads, basically.
Yeah.
But then we see Maria in the convent, and she is in a whole world of pain. And the Reverend Mother, she has this great line, and you pick up on this, it gets memed all the time. What is it you can't face, but can't, said differently?
Right.
What is it you can't face?
I haven't picked up on that meme.
I don't think you have now either. Yeah. But Maria basically admits, I can't face him again.
Yeah.
It's all about the longing for the captain. So it turns out being a nun doesn't stop you fancying very sexy naval captains.
Or Christopher Plummer.
So the Reverend Mother sings "Climb Every Mountain," which is a very high song, which I still do my best to sing along to. My sister had it performed at her wedding. We're a family who loves this. This is the sister who wore the Sound of Music dress to my brother's 40th. And Maria is basically told, you need to go back and face your fears because you can't run away from them.
Yeah. And then I put, next line, she just turns back up unannounced. I mean, like...
But it's nice.
Whether is it like... I know Mum's like, what the hell are you doing here? Or anything like that.
But she's worried about going back, so sings My Favourite Things. The kids are sad with that, so they sing My Favourite Things. And they join together as they meet. That's nice.
And another song I know. No, I've no issue with her going back, but it's just like I just noticed like she just turned back up unannounced, like the captain as if he's going to be happy to see her, and obviously it's storytelling and stuff, but just turns up at the house.
We found out that she left a note. You said you didn't say goodbye, and in my notes. Then it's the evening time, and I think what happens now is all very quick. But I can see why there's lots of storyline to carry on with, so they just need to get it done. We've been leading towards this.
So my next note was she breaks up just because she's back. That's it. The Baroness. Yeah, just breaks up. She turns up and then she goes, "Oh well, it's off now." Then and goes.
I've read many an article where that Baroness would have fought for her Matt. Do you know what I mean? She would have caved so easily. But also, I mean, maybe she didn't really want to be with 7 kids. I completely relate to that. So we see the scene where she ends it with Georg in a very sweet way, in a very kind of, as though she
makes out that it's her, not him. When he knows it's him, so it's to make him feel better. Which I thought was a quality scene, by the way.
It's a really good scene. But my favourite line, which I did open with, and you never repeat a joke twice, but I am going to repeat it, is the line where she says, And out there is a young lady who I think will never be a nun. I
Yeah.
love the way she says that. But what's great about it is Christopher Plummer's face acting, you know. I love a face acting moment. He A, realises that he's in love with Maria. B, realises that she knows he's in love with Maria. C, realises that he's not been hiding it. D, feels guilty and bad for her, for the Baroness, that he's been doing that. And then E, I'm up to E, I don't know, all of them.
Lost count when you said A.
Realises that, oh my goodness, my life is now about to be this way. And his face just conveys all that, and I love it. He does it so well. It's such a good moment. I urge you to go back and rewatch that little face.
So the wedding was very, very grand and very quick. Very quickly happened, but like massively grand.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And this scene is so healing, I think, because Maria was in the convent because she was an orphan, basically, and had nowhere else to go, and kidded herself that that's what she wanted. And sort of hid there. She wasn't living her life. She was having sexual freedom on top of the mountain, if you take that sort of interpretation as read. And now she's found a family that she loves and who's accepted her and accepts all her faults, as she would describe them. Other people would describe them as undiagnosed ADHD. And it's a lovely scene where things kind of feel whole for a moment.
See, I thought this would have been like the perfect way to end it.
Well, this is where a lot of people do end the film when they don't want to have to deal with the Nazis.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The next 20 minutes left of the movie.
Grim after this.
Yeah, it didn't feel like overly long or anything. The next 20 minutes, but I just thought that was the happy ending.
It is. I mean, there are different happy endings, as you know. But yeah.
I mean, my next line wrote after that.
Well, we haven't finished the wedding scene, so can we just have a moment for the fact? There's that viral meme that's gone around where when the nuns are singing, reprising How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, you must have seen it, where someone's put, imagine getting married and your ex-colleagues turn up and sing a song about what a nightmare you are.
Yeah, I did pick up on that.
It does amuse me.
But then, as you said, like, the sunny, happy wedding, it's everything's bright, and then it suddenly turns like all the shots then are filmed in the evening because Nazis. It just changes.
Well, as soon as the wedding finishes, we go to it's a town square, I guess, in Salzburg. We see visible swastikas on buildings. We see soldiers marching across in unison. It is immediately grim and a very quick sort of message that, oh, okay, the Anschluss has happened. Austria has now been taken over by Nazi Germany. And Rolf is there. We see the kids and Uncle Max are singing on the open air stage, and Rolf is there, and these sort of saying, "Do you want to give this telegram to me tonight so they can have a moment?"
Yeah.
And he is not concerned with Liesl anymore. He is all about the local Nazi party. It's very grim and scary.
He reminded me, the way he was dressed and stuff. Jojo Rabbit, like he wasn't like full Nazi, but he was like one of the boys trying to be in the youth squad.
He's only supposed, he's 17. We know how old he is. He's 17 going on 18. So Maria and Georg have to come home from their honeymoon early. We see a little kind of quick aside where Max sort of says, "Oh yeah, once the round I told you," and he's come back. But in front of the kids, they're all smiles. It's very much where there's that brilliant gif of Christopher Plummer ripping down the Nazi flag.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was ripping it. Yeah, I thought that was great.
And it gets used for everything these days. But yeah, it's a very quick visual, but this is not going to wash in his world. And he gets a word that orders have been sent for him for his new role in the Nazi hierarchy,
Navy.
basically.
The Navy. Because he was a good naval captain.
That's the country he's now fighting for, according to the rules. But that's unconscionable for him. That's not going to happen. Yeah. So him and Maria made plans.
And what I will say, for a film that's 60 years old, I thought the writing was really good because the moral message was like, you just obviously don't join the bad guys and stuff like that.
Only 20 years after the war finished.
Yeah.
And if you think about 20 years ago, I can't do maths. What's 20 years ago? 2005.
That easy, that mate.
I just can't do numbers. It's too early. But you know what I mean? Like, that's 5 minutes ago, isn't it? 2005. We were both adults. We both had jobs. We were both with the people we were with. We were both doing what we always did. nothing has changed in those 20 years, except obviously loads of these probably have. Oh, you've got kids, that's changed.
Yeah,
I haven't, but do you know what I mean?
and we had the far rise of the right
No,
and
I
things
know.
like that. We won't go into
No, I
those
know,
too
but
many
my
details like
point
that.
is,
But
20 years ago does not feel that long ago to be making these big films about, you know, the states of the world. But this is a very clear-cut film about, like, the Nazis are bad guys,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
Should be.
But it is the writing. I thought the writing particularly was good in terms of, you know, his moral standpoint. I really approve of that.
I did actually read that in the real life Anschluss, Austrian people generally welcomed it, and there
Yeah.
was no one really against it at the time. So, you know, again, still this is Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Bit like America at the moment.
So, the Captain and Maria are going to make plans because he's not going to go and serve in the Navy for this new version of Austria. So, what they're planning to do is leave the country, and they're going to do it on the night of Max's singing contest. But on that night, when they are pushing the car to be quiet out of the house, Herr Zeller, the local, I guess he's the local like MP or local politician or maybe just local
the
mayor
head
or something.
Nazi. Just the head Nazi. That's how I
He's
thought
just a
of him.
baddie, and that's how he's portrayed. But he stops them. He's outside. He's obviously got sort of clue this might be happening. He's got all his troops there, and they go, "Oh, your car not working. We'll help you," and they get it working. But so the captain then has to quickly change his plans and say, "Oh no, we're just on our way to go and sing in the festival," which obviously Max is made up with because he's been wanting that for ages. And this is going to be the last time that they can all sing together because the official line is that the captain will be joining his new naval commission. So they go to the singing contest and they sing all the hits. They sing the Cuckoo song, then they sing Edelweiss, Captain sings it. It's chokes up in the middle, so sad. Because Edelweiss is a love letter to Austria. And then they sing Oh Dear. That's the other song they sing.
Yeah, now that one too.
Have I told you this already? No, I haven't. I sang that in a
Yes, you've told me this.
in a song contest in a caravan park in Wales in 1983.
In
Anyway.
2023.
1983, thank you. Anyway, so they do their songs, they go off, and then they leave, and they are now on the run, basically. Results are given out, and there are 2 runners up. They get a bit of a head start, so there are 2 runners up. One woman absolutely milks the applause. 16 times she bows.
Yes.
Trivia. But then when the winners are announced, which is, of course, the Von Trapp family singers, they have gone. And it's Rolf who goes, "They're gone!" And then there's a scurry and a panic and car horns blaring, and the troops, Herr Zeller's troops, are after them. Maria has taken her new family to her old family, and she's gone to the convent to hide while they kind of wait for the troops to move on, and then they can leave.
Quite tense, that scene where they're hiding behind the gravestone. And the torches going on the gravestones as they're hiding behind them, but there is bars in front of them, so they can't be accessed. And then Rolf, the little, I can't even say the word on the podcast because it'll get bleeped.
Whenever I think of Rolf now, I think of him as the little Nazi boy masturbating in the bathroom from Knives Out.
Right, yeah. So he hangs behind because he knows they're behind there.
Well, because Liesel gasps when she sees him. He hears Liesel.
Yeah.
So it's so sad.
He's then confronted by Mr. Von Trapp.
The captain.
Captain. And he hasn't got, I'll say, the balls to shoot him. He keeps threatening to shoot him. He's got a gun. And then basically he disarms him. Not by any physical violence, just because Rolf can't go through with it.
But are we supposed to, at this point, because you're saying he hasn't got the balls to shoot him, and I understand what you're saying, but I also don't think it takes balls to shoot somebody. I think it takes strength not to. So, like, do we think that Rolf is actually a decent guy underneath it? He's just got swept away with the propaganda at the time?
Well, that's what he says, doesn't he? The captain says, you know, you're not this person. Yeah, he knows it. And then he blows his whistle and you have to run.
I find it really interesting because what I do know, again, from reading Wikipedia, so don't hate me if I get it wrong, in the stage show, which I have seen a couple of times, but a long time ago, in the stage show, he doesn't give them up. He doesn't raise the alarm.
Right.
Rolf is not that guy, but in this he is. And I guess it's, again, Hollywood, so let's make a film. I find it really interesting because when the captain says you'll never be one of them, he sort of says it in a sneering way.
Yeah.
In the film. But
it's like he's downplaying them,
yeah,
basically.
it's like he's sort of...
Yeah, it's like he's saying he's weak, basically.
Yeah, and whereas I don't think it is weak to not shoot someone. I think that's a good thing. It's a strong person.
Yeah. So they run off to the car.
Well, what we also heard when they were being hidden by the Reverend Mother is that the borders are now closed.
Yeah.
So they are now going to have to drive to the mountains and escape on foot, which is a whole other thing. The captain disarms Rolf and he gets all the kids and Maria to get to their car, and then he eventually goes and they drive away.
Yeah.
At which point we see all the Nazi troops run to their 2 cars, I think it is.
Yep, it is too.
Turn on, thank you, fact checker. Turn on the engines and hear that noise. I remember very well from growing up with a dad who had cars that were always on the blink.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a chug where it doesn't start.
That turns to 2 nuns stood with
Sister Margaret and Sister Berta.
with the head nun, who is
The Reverend Mother, you would.
saying we need to confess. Just made me laugh a little bit. The motoring knowledge to disarm the cars and
Oh,
stop
they'll
them
have been
from
driving
working.
tractors around their fields growing crops for years. They'll be well adept.
So
They've disabled the cars.
Yeah, and the Von Trapps get away.
They get away, and we see, as the titles start, we see the family walking over the mountains on foot. I guess it's the Alps. If we go to Switzerland.
So I did put at the beginning. I think it's shot to the Alps with Austria and things
That makes
like that.
sense. I'm not.
I think so. I'm not. Yeah. If we're wrong, comment below.
And that's
It
the end,
ends,
soaring
and-
music,
and
titles.
helicopter fly away with the camera.
Beautiful. Still got other things to say.
Of course you have.
No, I know, but basically, there's a few bits and pieces I've read while I've been doing a bit of research for this that I found interesting that are worth sharing. First of all, did you like it? What did you think? Obviously, if you criticise it, you're trampling on my very childhood and my soul, but you know.
So I went into this looking at the runtime, 3 hours long,
Yeah.
thinking, oh my God. Hit whisked by.
Oh,
Like, literally whisked by.
that's nice.
Actually enjoyed it. I went into it thinking, oh God, I've got to watch this and stuff like that. But because of the familiarity of the songs, I felt like I knew the film without seeing it. French and Saunders skit, because they did, remember French and Saunders, the movies?
Yeah.
So I must have seen lots and lots of memes and skits over the years.
Yeah.
So they all felt familiar. I thought it was well written. I thought it was beautiful cinematography.
Yeah.
That stood out. Yeah, that stood out so well. And you think like over 60 years ago, you compare that to films from 60 years ago, it does massively stand out. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Would have watched it again. I probably wouldn't select it as a film to watch again, but if I came flicking through channels and it was on, I'd probably put it on for 20 minutes and watch a bit of it and stuff. But yeah, I was glad I watched it.
Well, that's great news. I genuinely thought you would hate it. And I knew you'd moan about this running time. It's a long film.
It didn't feel... The only time, as I mentioned throughout talking about the movie, the only time where I thought it could be trimmed off was just ended at the wedding. The wedding bit was...
but you've got to resolve the political situation. So the whole problem is, this is based on a real story.
Yeah.
Now, they have taken a lot of liberties, don't get me wrong. The whole point was they did escape from Nazi-run Austria to America, ultimately, I think. But, that's the story. So I guess they're going to have to stick with the basics of it.
But, I mean, the Nazi undertone throughout the movie, it was only subtly put there. And then, obviously, after the wedding, it was then shoved straight into your face. So I think they could have got away with it if they ended it at the wedding without having to have the danger element towards the end. I mean,
but that is the story.
I didn't think it was like bloated because of it, and it just like you say, most people finish watching it at the wedding because the Nazi stuff.
Only after they've seen it already. I don't think you should have cut out the end bit in the actual story. That is the story.
Yeah, it's a sequel, isn't it?
No, you know what? I like that they've never done a sequel. They told the story and they ended it. That's what more films should do. I read some interesting things, so I'm going to remind you again, as I did say before, and I genuinely think you should read this. It's short and it's funny. It's Belinda Taubes. I regret to inform you that my wedding to Captain Von Trapp has been cancelled, and it's just very funny.
Right.
And it's the Baroness's in the voice of the Baroness. But I read a really interesting piece, and it's kind of a blog, I think, and it's called What to Think About the Sound of Music. I get the impression that there's like what to think about, and then it's a different thing all the time.
Yeah.
So I found this one, and it seems to be a couple that are discussing it. So it's written out like a conversation, and their discourse is fascinating because they bring up, I mean, there's an element if they do overanalyze it all too much. It is just a nice film, ultimately. But they do mention a couple of things that I thought were worth saying, and obviously there'll be a link in the show notes for this. As much as there's Nazi undertones, there is obviously, it's the end of the 30s in Austria, so we know the historical context of that. The persecution of the Jews is not mentioned. Nazis are bad is mentioned, but at no point is anybody talking about or thinking about the persecution of people that were being persecuted at the time. You know, we're watching it and we're being told that we need to sympathise with the blonde-haired, blue-eyed family of singers whose dad is they want him to be working for them. They're not trying to put him in a concentration camp. So whilst I don't want anyone to have to, you know, fight for a regime they don't want to fight for, and I'm happy to be sympathetic to the plot in the family of the Von Trapps, there is an element of, they really do skate over this. They don't really go into it.
But is that because it's set just before the war?
No, I think it's because it's telling a story about a family rather than, you know.
Fair.
Well, I guess so, I don't know. And Maria, she's in scenes where the captain and Max are having a conversation about, we need to get out tonight. Yeah. She does not mention anything. Her story is the love story. She's not there in any other way. And so it is a little bit two-dimensional. She's the sort of the nun, then she's the governess, then she's the wife, which is a little bit reductive, I would suggest. Which is why I think I love the Baroness now. It's like, do you know what? You don't think I'm fabulous enough, and loads of people in Vienna do. I'm back. I'm going back to this. It's a nice week this week. We've not had an argument.
No. I mean, there'll be plenty of them throughout because, you know, you just happen to pick an okay movie.
When we made a list, so as I don't know if anyone who's listening to this knows, when we said we were going to do this podcast, we both individually made lists of all the films that we would individually want to talk about. And when I made that list, there's some brilliant films on there. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. But I put The Sound of Music on and thought, oh God, he's gonna hate it. He's gonna moan about it. Basically, I felt like last week when I said, that's what we're doing next week. I thought I'm giving you a world of pain this week. So I'm really happily surprised that's not the case.
Well, this is the idea behind the podcast, isn't it? Opening up our horizons to films that we've not seen. The
idea is that me getting to make you watch films you should have seen.
And vice versa. So broadening your horizons on the cultural classic films. So you have a different list of cultural classic films to mine.
Yeah.
And they are all relevant. I mean, you've not seen films like Rocky and Star Wars, but I've not seen Sound of Music and
probably you have now.
Yeah. So, and like I say, some weeks I'm surprised that I enjoyed it. Some weeks it's like, you know, tearing my eyes out that I've got to sit through 2 hours of this or whatever. But this week, you know, it actually surprised me.
So really that means next week you get to pick.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of dreading that one now because I've had such a lovely week reading about this and writing about this. I've had such a nice time. But obviously, what goes up must come down. I've got something terrible to watch next.
So I've got the film picked, but you'll have to wait till next week.
Okay. And if people want more, where can they find you?
Toffees Are Us on YouTube.
And I'm at nickybond.com, or you can look for the Lisa McCauley stories online. So, thanks for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.